The emergency room doors exploded open. Blood soaked the gurney. The SEAL commander's eyes snapped open, locked onto the young nurse in the corner, and his trembling hand rose in a perfect military salute. Every doctor in the room froze, because that nurse wasn't supposed to exist. And what happened next would expose a secret buried for 20 years. Dr. Marcus. Chun had seen everything in his 15 years running the trauma unit at Naval Medical Center San Diego. Gunshot wounds, blast injuries, Marines who'd lost limbs, but not their will to fight. But he'd never seen anything like what rolled through those doors on a Tuesday night in September. GSW to the abdomen, multiple shrapnel wounds, severe blood loss. The paramedic's voice cut through the organized chaos. Patient is Commander James Mitchell, Navy SEAL Team 3, 42 years old. Vitals dropping fast. The team moved like a machine. Nurses prepped IVs. Residents called out blood pressure readings. Dr. Chun's hands were already gloved, his mind calculating the damage before he even touched the patient. That's when he noticed her standing near. The supply cabinet was someone he'd never seen before. Early 20s, petite frame, dark hair pulled back in a neat bun. She wore scrubs that looked too big for her, and she held a clipboard like it was a shield. Her eyes were fixed on the wounded commander with an intensity that seemed out of place for someone's first day. "Who's the new girl?" Dr. Chun muttered to his head nurse. Sarah glanced over, then back at the patient. "Started today. Emma something. Admin sent her down. Said we needed extra hands." Dr. Chun didn't have time to worry about orientation. The commander was coding. BP 70 over 40 and dropping. "Get me 4 units of O negative now." The room erupted into controlled fury. Hands moved. Equipment beeped. Dr. Chun worked with the precision of a sculptor, trying to find the bleeder that was stealing this warrior's life. That's when it happened. Commander Mitchell's eyes opened. Not the confused flutter of someone coming out of shock, but the sharp, aware gaze of a man who knew exactly where he was. His head turned, scanning the room with tactical precision, despite the hole in his abdomen. Then he saw her, the young nurse in the corner, the one with the 2 big scrubs and the death grip on her clipboard. What happened next made Dr. Chun's scalpel pause midair. "Commander." Mitchell's right arm rose from the gurney, trembling, weak, but unmistakable in its intent. His hand lifted to his forehead in a perfect military salute. His lips moved, forming words that came out as barely a whisper. "Ma'am, didn't expect to see you here." The clipboard clattered to the floor. Every head in the trauma room turned toward the young nurse. Her face had gone white as bone. Her hands shook. And in her eyes was something Dr. Chun had seen 1,000 times in combat veterans, but never in a new nurse on her first day. Terror, recognition, and something else. Guilt. Double quotes. "Do you know this patient?" Dr. Chun demanded, his voice sharp. The nurse Emma opened her mouth. Closed it. Opened it again. "I need to leave." Her voice cracked. "I can't be here." "Nobody leaves until we stabilize this patient." Dr. Chun turned back to Mitchell. "Commander, stay with me. We're going to get you through this." But Mitchell's eyes never left Emma. "Phoenix Protocol," he whispered. "She's Phoenix Protocol." The words meant nothing to Dr. Chun, but they meant everything to Emma. She ran, right out of the trauma room, through the corridor, past the nurse's station. Sarah called after her, but Emma didn't stop. Dr. Chun heard the stairwell door slam. What the hell was that? A resident asked. Dr. Chun didn't answer. He was too busy saving the commander's life. But a seed of suspicion had been planted. Something was very wrong. Navy SEALs didn't salute nurses. They didn't whisper cryptic phrases with their dying breath. And nurses didn't run from patients like they'd seen a ghost. It took 3 hours to stabilize Commander Mitchell. 3 hours of surgery, transfusions, and prayers to whatever gods watched over warriors. When Dr. Chun finally stripped off his gloves at 4 in the morning, the commander was alive but critical. "He's going to make it," Sarah said. Exhaustion heavy in her voice, Me. Dr. Chun stared at the ICU monitors. Sarah, I need you to find that nurse. Emma, pull her file. Already did. Sarah handed him a folder. Dr. Chun opened it. Inside was a standard employment application, nursing license verification, and a background check. Emma Rodriguez, 23 years old, graduated from a nursing program in Arizona. No military service. No red flags. Except, this is fake, Dr. Chun said quietly. What? He pointed to the nursing license number. Look at the format. It's wrong. Arizona licenses don't use this sequence. He flipped through the pages. And this background check is too clean. Nobody's this clean. Sarah's eyes widened. Should we call security? No. Dr. Chen closed the folder. Not yet. I want to know why Navy SEAL commander saluted a fake nurse. I want to know what Phoenix Protocol means. And I want to know why she ran. Marcus, if she's some kind of threat, then the commander would have warned us, not saluted her. Dr. Chun looked through the ICU window at Mitchell's unconscious form. He recognized her. He respected her. Whatever she is, she's not an enemy. But she was running from something. Dr. Chun went home that morning with more questions than answers. He showered, changed, and stared at his laptop screen. Phoenix Protocol. He typed it into every search engine he could find. Nothing. No military operations. No medical procedures. No classified programs that his veteran status gave him access to. Was like the phrase didn't exist. He was back at the hospital by noon. Commander Mitchell was awake. Doctor. Mitchell's voice was rough, damaged by the breathing tube. The nurse, Emma. Where is she? Dr. Chun pulled a chair beside the bed. She left. Hasn't come back. Commander, I need you to tell me what's going on. Mitchell's jaw tightened. Classified. A woman with a fake identity worked in my trauma room. A Navy SEAL commander saluted her. Nothing about this is standard protocol, classified or not. Mitchell stared at the ceiling for a long moment. When he spoke, his voice carried the weight of old secrets. How much do you know about special access programs? Enough to know when I'm looking at one. Then you know I can't tell you anything. Mitchell turned his head, meeting Dr. Chun's eyes. But I can tell you this. Emma Rodriguez isn't her real name. She's not a threat. And if she ran, it's because she's trying to protect people. Protect them from what? From her past. Dr. Chun leaned forward. Commander, I need more than riddles. Mitchell's hand moved to the call button, but not to press it. Just to hold it. Like he needed something to anchor him. 20 years ago, the Navy ran a program, experimental. They took kids, orphans mostly, ones with no family, no ties. Trained them young. Really young. The goal was to create operatives who could blend anywhere, speak any language, become anyone. Dr. Chun felt ice crawl up his spine. Child soldiers. The program had a name. Phoenix Protocol. Because these kids would rise from nothing, become something new, then burn away and rise again somewhere else. Mitchell's voice was hollow. It was shut down in 2008. Congressional hearing. Ethics violations. The whole thing was buried, and the kids were given new identities and released into normal life. Emma was one of them. Her real name is Kira Brennan. She was 8 years old when they recruited her. By 16, she completed more missions than most SEALs do in a career. Mitchell's eyes closed. I was her handler, her mentor. I watched this kid become a ghost, and I watched what it did to her. Dr. Chun's mind raced. Why is she here? Why nursing school? Because when the program ended, she wanted to save lives instead of taking them. She wanted to be normal. Mitchell's voice cracked. She earned that right, Doctor. She bled for this country in ways no one will ever know. And if anyone finds out who she really is, there are people who will kill her for what she knows. Who? People the program was used against. Foreign agents, crime syndicates, politicians. Mitchell opened his eyes. Kira saw things. Did things. If the wrong people know she's alive, she becomes a target. Dr. Chun sat back in his chair, processing. And you recognized her. The moment I saw her face. 20 years older, but I'd know her anywhere. Mitchell's hand tightened on the call button. I saluted her because she earned it. She deserves respect, even if the world will never know why. The room fell silent, except for the steady beep of monitors. Dr. Chun made a decision. I'm going to find her, he said. And I'm going to help her. Doctor, Commander, you just told me that woman saved lives for this country when she was a child. The least I can do is make sure she gets to keep her second chance. Dr. Chun stood. Do you know where she might go? Mitchell hesitated, then nodded slowly. There's a place. A safe house we used during the program. Abandoned now, but Kira always said if anything went wrong, she'd go there. He rattled off an address in the desert, 2 hours outside San Diego. Dr. Chun memorized it. What should I tell her? Tell her Sandman says the protocol is over. Tell her she's free. Sandman? Mitchell's smile was sad. My call sign. She understand. Dr. Chun left the ICU with purpose in his stride. He told Sarah he was taking a personal day, got in his car, and drove east toward the desert. The address led him to an abandoned warehouse on the outskirts of a forgotten town. Graffiti covered the walls. Windows were shattered. It looked like every other dead building in America's Rust Belt. But Dr. Chun saw the fresh tire tracks in the dust. He parked and walked to the main entrance. The door was unlocked. Inside, the warehouse was a maze of old equipment and shadows. Dr. Chun's footsteps echoed. Emma? Kira? I'm not here to hurt you. Commander Mitchell sent me. Silence. Then, from the darkness above, a voice. How did you find me? Dr. Chun looked up. Kira stood on a catwalk, barely visible in the dim light filtering through broken windows. She wasn't wearing scrubs anymore. Black cargo pants, dark jacket, and an expression that belonged to someone much older than 23. Mitchell told me about Phoenix Protocol, Dr. Chun said. He told me what you were, what you did. Then you know I'm dangerous. I know you're scared. Kira's laugh was bitter. I'm not scared, Doctor. I'm practical. You saw what happened in that trauma room. I got recognized. That means my cover is blown. That means I need to disappear again. Mitchell says the protocol is over. You're free. There's no such thing as free. Kira started down the metal stairs, her movements liquid and precise. Not for people like me. We carry our past like a second shadow. It never leaves. She reached the ground floor, and Dr. Chun got his first clear look at her. The frightened young nurse was gone. In her place stood someone who'd seen combat, survived betrayal, and learned to trust no one. I became a nurse because I wanted to save people, Kira said quietly. I wanted to prove that I could build life instead of taking it. But every time I close my eyes, I see the faces of the people I hurt. Kids I manipulated. Targets I eliminated. I was good at it, Doctor. Too good. And that's what scares me. Dr. Chun took a step forward. You were a child. They used you. I was a weapon. And weapons don't get second chances. Then why did you try? The question hung in the air. Kira's composure cracked. Her hand shook. Because I didn't want to be that person anymore. I didn't want to be the girl who could kill someone 6 different ways before they hit the ground. I wanted to be normal. I wanted to matter in a good way. You do matter, Dr. Chun said firmly. You saved 3 lives last week in that hospital. I checked your record. You were only there 5 days, but you spotted a medication error, caught a deteriorating patient before anyone else noticed, and talked a suicidal veteran off a ledge. That's who you are now. Tears streaked down Kira's face. What if it's not enough? What if I can't outrun what I was? Then you keep running. But you don't run alone. Dr. Chun extended his hand. Come back. Work under your real credentials this time. I'll help you. Mitchell will vouch for you. You earn your second chance. Kira, don't throw it away because you're afraid. Kira stared at his hand like it was a lifeline thrown across an impossible distance. Then she took it. They walked out of that warehouse together, back into the sunlight. It wasn't a perfect ending. Kira would still carry her scars. She would still have nightmares. But she wasn't alone anymore. 2 weeks later, Dr. Chun stood in the hospital administrator's office with Commander Mitchell, who recovered enough to walk with a cane. They'd spent hours navigating red tape, pulling strings, and calling in favors. Mitchell's reputation as a decorated SEAL commander opened doors. Dr. Chun standing in the medical community sealed the deal. Kira Brennan was granted a full pardon for her actions, under Phoenix protocol. Her nursing license was reissued under her real name, and she was offered her job back. She stood in the doorway of the trauma unit on her first official day, no longer hiding behind a fake name. Dr. Chun approached her. Ready? Kira smiled, and for the first time, it reached her eyes. Ready. She stepped into the organized chaos of the ER. Nurses called out vitals. Doctors barked orders. Patients arrived on gurneys with injuries that needed skilled hands and steady nerves. And Kira moved through it all with the grace of someone who'd finally found their purpose. Dr. Chin watched her work, remembering the frightened young woman who'd fled this same room 2 weeks ago. She wasn't that person anymore. Or maybe she was, but she'd stopped running from it. Commander Mitchell appeared beside him, leaning on his cane. Things should be okay? Dr. Chun nodded. She's stronger than she knows. She always was. Mitchell smiled. I just wish it hadn't taken 20 years to tell her. They stood in silence, watching Kira save another life. But the story wasn't over. 3 months later, on a quiet night shift, Kira was restocking supplies when a patient was brought in. Gunshot wound. Critical condition. The paramedic said he'd been found in an alley downtown. No ID. No witnesses. Kira helped wheel him into the trauma room. Dr. Chin started the assessment. The patient was unconscious, face swollen from a beating, but alive. Then, Kira saw the tattoo on his forearm, a phoenix rising from flames. The same tattoo every Phoenix Protocol operative had been given. Her blood turned to ice. Doctor, she said quietly, I know him. Dr. Chun looked up. What? His name is Alex Reeves. Call sign, Ghost. He was part of the program with me. The implications hit like a freight train. If Alex was here, wounded and running, it meant something had gone very wrong. As if on cue, Alex's eyes snapped open. He grabbed Kira's wrist with desperate strength. They're coming, he rasped. They found the list. They're killing everyone. What list? Kira demanded. Every operative, every handler, everyone who knew about Phoenix. Blood flecked his lips. You're on it, Kira. They're coming for you next. The trauma room doors burst open. 2 men in suits walked in, flashing federal badges. We need everyone to step back. This patient is under federal custody. Dr. Chun moved to block them. This is a hospital. You can't just... One of the men pulled a gun, not to aim at Dr. Chun, to aim at Alex. And Kira moved. 20 years of training, buried under 3 months of normal life, erupted to the surface. She knocked the gun aside, swept the man's legs, and had him on the ground in 2 seconds flat. The second man reached for his weapon, but Commander Mitchell appeared from nowhere, despite his cane, and had the man disarmed before he could blink. Alarms blared. Security rushed in. The 2 federal agents were restrained, cursing and threatening lawsuits, but Kira wasn't paying attention to them. She was staring at Alex, who smiled weakly despite the hole in his chest. Still got it, Kira. Who sent them? She demanded. Senator Harwell. He was one of the politicians we had dirt on. He's cleaning house. Alex coughed, and more blood came up. There's a file. Hidden drive. Location in my jacket. Get it. expose him. End this. Dr. Chun found the jacket, found the drive, and just like that, Kira was pulled back into the world she tried to escape. But this time, it was different. This time, she had all eyes. Dr. Chun, Commander Mitchell, the other nurses who'd become her friends. They didn't abandon her when the truth came out. They stood beside her. The information on that drive was explosive. Evidence of Phoenix Protocol. Names of children who'd been used. Politicians who covered it up. And proof that Senator Harwell had been systematically eliminating anyone who could expose him. Kira took the evidence to the media, to federal prosecutors, to anyone who would listen. The fallout was massive. Hearings, arrests, headlines. That screamed about government conspiracies and child soldiers. Senator Harwell was indicted. Other officials resigned. The whole rotten structure came crashing down. And through it all, Kira Brennan stood in the light, not as a weapon, not as a ghost, but as a survivor who refused to let her past define her future. 6 months after that night in the trauma room, Kira stood on a hospital rooftop, watching the sun set over San Diego. Dr. Chun joined her, carrying 2 cups of terrible hospital coffee. "Thought I'd find you here," he said. Kira took the coffee. "Just needed air. It's been a long day. Every day is long in trauma." Dr. Chun sipped his coffee, grimaced. "But you keep showing up. Where else would I go? Anywhere? You could disappear again. New name, new life." Kira shook her head. "I'm done running. This is where I belong." They stood in comfortable silence, watching the city lights blink on as darkness fell. "You know what I think," Dr. Chun said. "I think you were always meant to be here. The program, the missions, everything you went through, it was preparing you to save lives in a different way." That's a nice thought. It's the truth. Kira smiled. "Maybe. Or maybe I just got lucky. Lucky that Commander Mitchell recognized me. Lucky that you didn't turn me in. Lucky that people cared enough to help. Luck had nothing to do with it." Dr. Chun set down his coffee cup. "You earned everything you have, Kira. You earned your freedom, your redemption, your second chance. Don't ever forget that." Tears pricked Kira's eyes, but she blinked them away. "Thank you, Doctor, for everything." "Thank you," he replied, "for reminding me why I became a doctor in the first place. To save people, even the ones who think they're beyond saving." They finished their coffee and headed back downstairs. Back to the trauma unit. Back to the work of healing broken bodies and shattered lives. And as Kira pushed through the double doors into the familiar chaos of the A, she realized something. She was home. Not the warehouse in the desert. Not the classified facilities where she'd been trained. But here, in this hospital, surrounded by people who knew her past and chose to stand beside her anyway. The doctors didn't laugh anymore. They respected her, trusted her, knew that the young nurse with the 2 big scrubs and the haunted eyes was someone special, someone who'd risen from the ashes of a program designed to destroy innocence, someone who'd chosen to save lives instead of taking them, someone who'd earned her salute. And every night, when Kira went home to her small apartment, she looked at the photo on her nightstand. Commander Mitchell had given it to her, a picture from her graduation day at nursing school. She was smiling in that photo, really smiling, with a future full of possibilities ahead of her. She'd fought for that future, bled for it, nearly died for it, but she'd won, and that was enough. That's the end of today's story, but I hope it stays with you for a while. If something in it spoke to you, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't yet, and share your thoughts. It's your comments that keep me inspired to make the next one.